Hey Warriors, this is going to be Unit 9, Lesson 6. We're going to talk about schizophrenia in this PowerPoint. But first, what is a mood disorder and list two types? So that would have been your previous lesson, and it'll be a bell ringer coming up. So mood disorders include an emotional disorder in which person's emotions are excessive or contrary to what is expected. Being contrary means we react in the opposite way. Two examples include depression, and bipolar. All right. In this lesson, we'll cover schizophrenia, defining it and explaining its manifestations and variations. So let's go! Schizophrenia is a group of severe psychotic disorders characterized by distortions in thinking, perception, emotions, and behavior. And as one does, let's think about what that definition actually means. So to unpack a group of severe psychotic disorders. Psychotic disorders means that we see, think, perceive things that may not even be there, may not be true. It's is in A Beautiful Mind, which is a movie about this man, John Nash, who was a well-known mathematician he went to Harvard, and I'll tell you all kinds of stuff about him. As a matter of fact, there's next click, there's a video about him. So we'll talk about his life living with schizophrenia. He's one of the first ones to decide that he can actually live with schizophrenia. And it's a cool story, so we'll discuss. He suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, has delusions or auditory hallucinations relating to the delusions of grandeur, persecution, or jealousy. So what does it mean to have a delusion? It means to believe something that isn't true. So he believed that he was like a prophet, a messenger of God, and a delusion of grandeur. I'm more important than I really am is a delusion of grandeur. Auditory hallucinations are hearing things and seeing things hearing things is auditory, and then visual hallucinations are seeing things that really aren't there. So schizophrenic may hear voices, may believe things that really aren't true, and intact cognitive skills. Now, the trick with schizophrenia is a lot of young men get it. It manifests itself around age 22, 23, 24, 25, that area where your prefrontal cortex is getting to be fully formed. They may live with it through their adolescent years, and then it gets severe, very severe, when they're in their adult life. As this says, John Nash had a partial recovery where he just learned to live with the symptoms. I'm sure that he had medication and treatment as well. So more on that here, which we'll get to in class. Another sort of type of schizophrenia includes disorganized schizophrenia, where we have disintegration of personality, includes erratic speech, childish mannerisms, and bizarre behavior. Schizophrenics typically, the term word salad is associated with a schizophrenic because their speech typically does not follow any pattern of thought. Like, it's very random, it's very disorganized, and does not follow a logical flow. So they can start on one topic and suddenly switch to another. May mimic the speech of others, meaningless rhyming of words, and neologism, where they make up words. So you're going to hear from this man who has definitely displays the characteristics of cognitive slippage and word salad. After a bit, I'll show it in class. Catatonic schizophrenia is maybe the most bizarre here, where a tendency to remain in a fixed stupor state for long periods of times, maybe short periods of extreme excitement, imitate speech and imitate movement. Catatonic schizophrenics stay in these unusual positions for hours at a time. And as this says, it's quite rare, and I don't know that we know a whole lot about it. All right, so this is the final slide for this. What types of schizophrenia do you see in these two case studies? Now, you and I are not doctors, but we'll give our best crack at what kind of schizophrenia are they and symptoms are they exhibiting. More on that in class. All right, so what causes schizophrenia? Well, the psychodynamic theory, it traces everything back to childhood and unconscious motives. So regression to early childhood, so reaction to anxiety, maybe family that is extremely critical and pushy can be factors causing schizophrenia as well, according to the psychodynamic theory. Perhaps more likely is biology, where genetic factors plays a role in developing schizophrenia. If one twin has schizophrenia, it's likely that the other twin will share it, because after all, they have identical genetics if they're identical twins. So multifactorial model of causes of schizophrenia include many different things. So you can see in this graphic organizer here that stress plays a role in activating schizophrenia, that family, maybe like the psychodynamic theory theorized, is overly critical, maybe a lot of pressure to be a certain person, to have a certain career, lifestyle, whatever it might be, and cultural variation. It's interesting to me that schizophrenia is most highest in Caucasian. Find that interesting. Multifactorial model may also include these factors: complications during pregnancy and birth, the quality of parenting, perhaps viral infections. Schizophrenia is the only one that can be onset by drug abuse, and that is because it's tied with a little bit with dopamine on the biological scale. So here's a fun fact, interesting. And for the rest of this PowerPoint in class, then we will watch this schizophrenia questions. So preview these questions before we do the video, and we'll know what to look for as we watch.